Hi, I'm Marty Levinson, and welcome to Northtown News Magazine.
Hi, I'm Marty Levinson, and welcome to the Northtown News Magazine.
Okay, very good.
Hi, I'm Marty Levinson, and welcome to the Northtown News Magazine.
For the identity of the real Marty Levinson, please stay tuned for the Northtown News Magazine.
Hey there, I am really Marty Levinson. Don't let anybody fool you. Welcome to the Northtown News Magazine show with the greatest cameraman around, Sonny Hirsch, and your host, Avi Myers.
Thank you, Marty. Avi Myers, Northtown Neighborhood News Magazine, a presentation of Sonny Hirsch and myself. Dial us up on the web at www.ntnm.org. You can watch us on YouTube. 2 years ago, when I first started keeping track, 21,000 shows were watched. The year after, 37,000 shows, and in 2010, over 71,000 shows watched. So it's really increasing. And this year already, the average per week watch is definitely way up, and it looks like we're going to be smashing the record again this year by a lot. So thank you all for watching. It is much appreciated. We're real big on community policing, caps24.org. Yes, community policing still exists. Forget that message board. Come to your CAPS meeting, and you'll get accurate information from the policemen that patrol your streets. It is a pleasure to have the alderman of the 49th Ward in election season. Only one opponent this time, and been alderman, I think this is going to be your sixth term if
the voters honor me with re-election, it'll be my sixth term.
And we're talking about Alderman Joe Moore. How you doing?
Avi, it's good to be here as always.
First of all, my pleasure. And the fact is that, it's interesting because if you take a look 4 years ago, and I'm sure you looked very carefully, you barely squeaked out a win in overtime, so to speak. You basically, in the runoff, you won by so little, it was unbelievable. And I figured you were going to get swamped. The wisdom downtown is that, was basically that, there's certain people that are going to be goners, and you were one of the names that were mentioned. And all of a sudden, you revitalized the whole system.
I'm back.
Well, I'll tell you,
Yeah.
I should let you talk for yourself. You've done some very interesting things over the last couple of years that's made the whole city take notice.
Well, 4 years ago was it was a very contentious time. It was in essence kind of a perfect storm for me politically. I was involved in a number of controversial issues. I didn't do the kind of communication with my constituents that I'm doing now, which I totally believe is very important. One of the things I learned from the last election is you can do all sorts of good things, but if people don't know what you're doing, then it's not a whole lot of, it's not going to do you a whole lot of good. It's sort of like the tree falling in the forest. If no one hears it, was a sound made. So we not only redoubled our efforts, we quadrupled our efforts to communicate with the people I represent in the 49th Ward. We've got an electronic newsletter that goes out to about 13,000 individual email addresses.
Including mine.
Including yours, Avi, and anyone else out here. If you want to sign up, go to ward49.com, and on the homepage, on the homepage of that website, you can scroll to the bottom of the screen and sign up for the electronic newsletter that'll tell you what's going on in the neighborhood. But we found that to be incredibly important. But not only that, I redoubled my efforts to enhance the service provided in my office. We made some changes. We now have a complete and total ethic of customer service, and every call gets returned, every email gets returned. If that doesn't happen, my staff hears about it. And finally, we've launched several exciting new initiatives, participatory budgeting, where I've taken $1.3 million, the money that I get to spend at my discretion, and I have the voters in my ward, not only the voters, any resident age 16 years or over who lives in the 49th Ward votes in an election to decide how that money's spent. And I agree to bind myself to the results of that election. So we've got a lot of good things going on. I could go on, but I'll let you ask a few more questions.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Besides for that, and that participate, that's like the talk of the whole city, and even cities nearby. It's sort of like that's such a unique thing.
Yeah, Avi, it's actually the talk of the whole country. I have had an invitation from the Harvard School of Government to talk about
really
about participatory budgeting. I plan on, the invitation's extended to me to travel out to Cambridge in April. So I've spoken to universities in New York City. So we're spreading the gospel of participatory budgeting around the country. And you know why? Because people are sick and tired of people in government not listening to them. People are sick and tired of not having any real power over how their tax dollars are being spent. And while $1.3 million is a relatively small amount in the big scheme of the entire city budget, it's the budget that I control. And I felt that I wanted to set an example of how government should operate, of how government should not only give people a voice, but give people a real power in decisions that are being made, decisions that affect their lives. Which
is pretty cool. And this is not the first time you've made a nationwide bang. I will still never forget when they flashed a picture of you on the McLaughlin group. And Pat Buchanan, of course, every bit as progressive as you, right? Yeah. He agreed with you totally on that issue.
Well,
which I thought
politics makes strange bedfellows. And one of the things that I've been very proud of is the fact that we've kind of brought people together in the 49th Ward. We're stronger together now, working together. I had a lot of people who worked for my opponents in the last campaign that are now working for us. Not necessarily working for us politically, but working with my office on behalf of the community. They've joined the 49th Ward Green Corps, which is a group of neighborhood volunteers that work on environmental initiatives and green initiatives in the 49th Ward. They've worked on the Glenwood Sunday Market, a market that my wife Barbara was very instrumental in bringing to the 49th Ward, a farmer's market that has really become a neighborhood town square every Sunday in the summertime and the second Sunday of every month in the wintertime.
Yeah, you've got stuff going on in the winter. And I've got to say that, I'm both friends with you and your wife on Facebook, and she's really added a whole new dimension. I think she's done a great job in general.
A lot of people will say that.
And I don't think she's getting paid for that either.
No, she's not. No, she's not. A lot of people will say that she's one of the main reasons for my comeback, if you will, and I can't argue with that. She's not just my wife, but she's a real partner, and a partner not only in the sense of a partner for me, but a partner for the entire community. I mean, she really believes in Rogers Park and Edgewater and Westridge, the communities we represent, and she really believes that we're a really unique neighborhood. And shares my passion for our community. And so it's like, you get two for the price of one, I guess you might say.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a unique neighborhood, and there's no place I'd rather buy ground beef, among other things, than Romanian kosher.
Oh, perfect place. And one of the great things about my neighborhood is all the fine restaurants and pubs that are in the community. And a lot of times people who live in our neighborhood don't even know they're there. And that's why I launched the Follow Me on Friday. Every Friday, we go to a different restaurant or pub in the 49th Ward, kind of a happy hour from 5 to 7. The establishment gives out a free soft drink or beer or wine or something and some appetizers, and we just sit and talk. It's not a town meeting. It's just meet the alderman, meet this new business, meet an old business that you haven't been to before, and people have really responded to that. And it's a small and cost-effective way that we have done to promote local business in our community and to promote people to shop locally and to spend their money locally.
By the way, and it is pretty cool, and you should know that I get so many emails. I mean, it's just easy for me to just click and delete without even opening. But I am curious where you're going to be on a certain Friday.
Yeah.
Even though I keep kosher and I'm not, the Sabbath already starts a lot of Fridays at that time.
That's true.
The fact of the matter is that I just think it's a cool idea.
Yeah, and Avi, we're going to keep doing it because it is something that really benefits local businesses, and it doesn't require any government funding whatsoever.
Yeah. By the way, one thing you did when you mentioned the farmers market was voted the top farmers market in Illinois.
That's right. There was a online poll, and the 49th Ward Farmers Market, the Glenwood Sunday Market, was voted the most popular farmers market in Illinois.
Which is pretty cool.
We're very proud of that fact, and I'm very proud of literally hundreds of volunteers who've worked to make that market happen.
No, it's definitely really cool stuff. I know a lot of people are, Yeah, a lot of people who don't usually get involved in politics got very involved in that whole business.
Right, because it wasn't political. It was all about benefiting the community. There have been some efforts in the past, some noble efforts in the past to do a farmer's market, and they kind of fizzled. This one worked, I think, first because of the location, right there in the heart of Rogers Park, and secondly, it's an idea whose time had come. People were anxious to get that fresh food, to get the locally grown food, to get the food that is grown in sustainable farming with sustainable farming practices, and to bring that food into our community. And I also think people love the fact that they have a place to go to meet their neighbors. One of the things that they say about farmers markets is that it's an opportunity for, more so than in any other grocery store, anything, for people to not only shop, but to talk with their neighbors. And it's become a real gathering place for folks in our community.
That's cool. I haven't been there. I grow my own, but
well, you ought to come by. And it's not just produce. There are a lot of other products there as well. We've got a farmer who sells honey. He's a beekeeper,
cool.
And he not only sells honey, he also sells products made from honey, like soap and things. A great guy, very friendly guy, loves the market. One of the things that I've been really proud of is the fact that the farmers who come there, and a lot of them go to different farmers markets over the course of the week. They say that the Glenwood Farmers Market is their favorite because they're treated with respect. The people are friendly, the customers are friendly, and the environment is friendly. So this is something we're going to continue next year.
No, it's pretty cool, and I will tell you, I went to the one you had around Howard and Paulina for a brief time, and it sounds like this one's 1,000 times better.
Yeah, and the folks who sponsored that really worked hard, but I don't think it was an idea whose time it wasn't fully baked yet. Now it is, and there's no greater proof than the success of the market itself.
No, listen, the local sustainable, agricultural stuff is definitely big right now, and this typifies it. One of the things you mentioned that I want to expound on a little bit, and I write a lot about it in Jewish Chicago, this sort of thing, is that the fact that your ability to be able to work with people who opposed you, or their ability to work with you, is a really big point.
Avi, look, to me, life is too short.
Yeah.
I don't hold grudges. I'm not bitter. I think there are a lot of people who had legitimate concerns about, maybe some aspects of my performance in office. I listened to them. I am more than willing to let bygones be bygones. Most of the people who supported my opponents last time did so for what they believe to be good reasons. I respect that. And you know what? The election was 4 years ago. I said, let's work together, and I've extended my hand, and they've extended their hand back. And now what we've demonstrated with the progress we've made in the face of the worst economic recession since the Great Depression, we've had new businesses opening, a good revitalized feel to not only Morse Avenue, but our other retail strips. The proof is in the pudding. You're stronger working together. Our community is stronger working together, and I'm really looking forward to the next 4 years.
Very good. And by the way, that point I did, as a matter of fact, I wrote about that not just in terms of the 49th Ward, but also in terms of the 50th Ward, because people that can't work with people aren't people I really want to see be all of it. Yeah, you'll have to pick up your free copy to read it. But that's also one of the reasons why, despite the fact that in most races I really just enumerated people and listed, good, bad, ugly, and didn't endorse, the 49th Ward was actually one of the few places that, were the Jewish Chicago, which we're filming this before, so he hasn't seen it. I haven't written it yet either, but I will tell you that one of the few people in the city that I did endorse is Alderman Joe Moore.
Avi, I appreciate it. I'm very honored to have your support.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I don't live in the ward, so I can't exactly vote for you.
No, but you have a following in the ward, and I really do appreciate your support, as well as the support of everyone watching this show who lives in the 49th Ward, or who lives near the 49th Ward, who has friends who live in the 49th Ward, and they could tell them to that they like to see the progress we made continue, and they like to see the kind of new revitalized leadership that I think I've exhibited continue.
If people want to contact you?
They can contact me through my website. I've got a couple of them. There's the ward49.com, which is my sort of official website, the kind of the government website, although I pay for it out of my own funds. There's also joemore.org, which is our blatantly political website, where you can make a contribution and find out about my campaign. And of course, you can also reach me through my ward service office at 773-338-5796.
We're running over, so at this point, take one of those things. Good luck.
Javi, thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure. Thank you. Thanks, Sonny. Bye-bye, everybody.